Yeah, you're good.
Awesome. Hey, I'm Mel Robbins. I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome to Coffee Talk, or today it is Seltzer Talk because it is 12:45 Eastern here outside of Boston, Massachusetts. What is Coffee Talk? It is my live weekday broadcast where I help you go about your day in a way that empowers you to make the most of it. We give you inspiration, tools, advice. We take you behind the scenes. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that you have written in about. So many of you are struggling with this. And this is, how do you set boundaries with family and not feel guilty about it? Big one, huh? How do you set boundaries with your family and not feel guilty about it? Now, in today's Coffee Talk and the subject of setting boundaries with your family and not feeling guilt about it, we're going to cover a lot of stuff. We're going to cover the definition of guilt that is inspired by Brené Brown. I've got a little twist on it that's going to help you disappear not only the feelings associated with what you're calling guilt, but also to help you change the way you talk about it so that when you move forward, you're not thinking that thing about guilt, you're thinking this thing that's more positive. I'm going to give you a very useful image that you can use to help you set boundaries. I'm also going to remind you of my 6-month rule when you know it's time to draw some boundaries with people or to end the relationship. I'm also going to share with you some interesting research about guilt and why it's so important for you to get a handle on guilt, because guilt changes your behavior for the worse, particularly women, okay? Particularly women my age, ages 40 to about 55, guilt runs rampant. And of course, we're going to talk about what do you do with guilt and how to disappear it. So this is inspired by a question from Lisa. And if you ever have a question, all you have to do is post it to social media, tag me, Mel Robbins Live on Instagram, Mel Robbins on Facebook. Well, heck, you're on social media because you're watching this, so you know the channels. And use the hashtag AskMel, and you could find your question and you featured in an upcoming Coffee Talk broadcast. So Lisa writes this question that I know you're going to relate to. Hey, Mel, my family never has had anything but bad or depressing news to share, so I've pretty much stopped calling and only make contact on Facebook, mainly by liking things and making short comments. I love them, but I just can't do it anymore. I'm trying to pick myself up off the floor and move forward. I can't carry them as well as I try to carry myself forward. Isn't that a good visual? That as you're trying to pick yourself up and carry yourself forward, how hard it is when you are also trying to carry other people, particularly people that weigh you down. Where do I put this guilt, the big G word, guilt? Where do I put this guilt that I'm feeling every damn day? It's like a chain around my leg. It's probably more like a chain around your neck. It's suffocating when you allow yourself to feel guilt. I feel like I sound like a bitch by simply saying this out loud. You know, Lisa, I don't think that you sound like a bitch. I think that you sound like you're struggling. And how many of you are struggling with the issue of setting boundaries with family members and then feeling this level of, quote, guilt when you start to do so? If you relate to this, this is going to be incredibly helpful information that I'm about to share with you. If you have any questions, just put them right in the comments. I might have some time to take some questions. But first, we're going to talk about setting boundaries, and then we're going to get into guilt. Okay, so let's talk about setting boundaries. So interestingly, Lisa is already setting boundaries because did you hear what she said? She has stopped reaching out because why would you step into an emotional boxing ring only to get punched in the face, right? So she's stopped reaching out, but she has remained in contact on Facebook where she has liked posts, which is a very positive way to interact with somebody. She's commenting in positive ways, very positive way, make short little comments. It's literally like giving somebody a hug from far away. When you see somebody liking your posts, leaving positive comments, it stimulates a dopamine release. And so it literally does have a positive impact on the other end without you getting entangled emotionally. So she has set boundaries. So question number 1, how do you know when you need to set boundaries? Here's how you can think about it. So think about your relationships on a scale from 1 to 10, right? 1 to 10. 1 being that it's an absolutely fabulous relationship, no issues whatsoever. You're super happy about this person. You're super happy about your connection with this person. 10 is, it is so triggering. You're so uncomfortable. You can barely be around the person. You have a visceral reaction. Boundary, 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 boundary. If you are anywhere in the range of 6 to 10, it is time to think about boundaries. And what are boundaries? I'm going to show you. Hey, Oakley! Let me see if Oakley can hear me. Oh! Can you know those snow globes in your room? Would you mind bringing them down? I want to show everybody on this live stream something. So I want to show you something about boundaries. I'm so psyched he's home because I know he wants to say hello, and I can't wait to show you this, and I'm pretty sure.
Hi, everyone.
All right, cool. Dude, who gave you this?
Massey.
Oh, my mom. My mom gave you this.
Guys.
Bye, dude. You don't want to stay? You good? Okay, he's good. Snow globe from my mother to Oakley. Boundaries is a confusing word. I want you to think about force fields, right? I want you to think about the fact that if you're a 6 to a 10 with somebody that's triggering you, so 1 is blissful, 10 is visceral, just can't be around that person. You need to think about force fields, because if they're part of your family, you might have to see them unless they're dangerous or destructive or they're racist or they're bigoted, in which case you don't have to see them and you can make those boundaries very clear. So I think about toxic people like snow globes, right? They love to shake crap up. They love to shake stuff up, and they love to especially shake you up and poke at you and trigger you. And look at all that crap that they're stirring up. Now, the interesting thing about a snow globe is that this is like representative of your head, okay? And so I like snow globes as a visual for when you're talking about boundaries, because they can both represent the person who triggers you. So visualize your mom or your son or your ex-husband or your brother or your sister-in-law or that cousin or whatever it may be, and how whenever they do that stuff that triggers you, it's like they're shaking their own globe, and their own head does this. So a force field boundaries basically means that when the toxic person in your family starts doing this to their own head and to the own situation, let that crap that gets stirred up stay in their head. You want a boundary. You don't want to climb in the globe with them and get all shaken up either, right? You want distance from them. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about boundaries. It's not just physical distance, it's emotional distance. So that when you see their stuff shaking up, when you see them starting to throw the shame and the guilt and all that crap around, you realize, whoa, look at how much unresolved garbage they have in their head. Wouldn't that stink to live with all this kind of stuff in your head? I mean, come on. How terrible would it be to be such an emotional toxic basket case that you got to use shame and guilt and stir things up all the time because you can't live otherwise? The secret to boundaries with your family is realizing that their stuff needs to stay in their globe. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to operate in a way that when they start shaking their globe, that you all of a sudden start getting shaken up in your head. Their stuff stays with them, okay? That's what boundaries mean. And I find this visual to be extraordinarily helpful when I'm dealing with toxic people, because it allows me, here's the secret, I literally visualize when somebody is starting to do something that's really like toxic or annoying or like whatever. They're throwing a little hissy fit about something that's stupid as a way to get control of a situation in a family, because family is all about power dynamics and being the center of attention, right? When families don't work, that's what's not working about them. That somebody's upset and they're trying to put the attention on themselves and they're trying to control what's going on. So they shake. Shake, shake, shake. They use all kinds of emotional garbage to shake the globe. So when I'm around somebody that's like that, I visualize literally a snow globe on top of their shoulders. And visualizing that for me allows me to set an emotional boundary and go, whoop, force field's up. They're busy shaking stuff. That's about them. Doesn't have anything to do with me, because shame is a weapon. Guilt is a weapon that people use to manipulate you. And that's why it is so important. Now, I also have a 6-month rule. A 6-month rule for people that are toxic, that are constantly doing this kind of stuff with you. If you love them, give them 6 months. Offer up options to help them. Offer up options around therapy, books to read. Talk to them. Does it bother you that you're this upset about this kind of thing? Have you ever wanted to try to resolve it? Have you ever wanted to feel more settled? Because what happens when you stop shaking? All of that crap that you stir up starts to settle. It's pretty amazing. But what's interesting about toxic people is that oftentimes they don't want help. You want to know why? Because if I can't do this, I don't know how to control you. And the second you stop reacting to this, I'm going to do more of this because I don't know how to control you when you don't react to it. And so the secret is don't step into the globe with them. For 6 months, offer support, offer resources. And if after 6 months somebody in your life is not willing to stop doing this to themselves and to you, you know it's time for very significant boundaries, perhaps even cutting them out, if it's that distressful to you. They'll get the message all right. They'll get the message. And first they're going to freak out though, because they manipulate you by doing this, right? How many of you jump the second that your mom or your dad throws the guilt around? How many of you feel bad when your brother or your sister makes you feel bad about what you didn't do based on what they wanted you to do? The second you stop reacting to that stuff, they're going to shake a lot more, and then they're going to get really, really lonely. And then they're going to realize what I'm doing isn't working, so I now need to change. You can only change your response, so stop responding to people that do this. You got it? Good. Now let's talk about guilt. In the research, the biggest guilt gap, researchers call it, there's even a name for it, the guilt gap. Women 40 to 50. That's me. Oh my God. I think it's even older too. We are the ones that are prone to feeling the most guilty. Why is that? Well, according to a neuroscientist at UCLA, this is screwy, but feeling guilt and shame activates your reward center. I don't know why. I have no idea why. And that's why feeling guilty can become a habit. Now, I want to say something about guilt. It's really important that we understand guilt and we get it out of our experience, because when you start to feel guilty, it actually can make you act worse. So when researchers gave women on a diet candy, the women that felt guilty about eating sugar actually ate twice as much candy. So if you can stop making yourself wrong, that's kind of what guilt is, right? Making yourself wrong, feeling uncomfortable about something you're doing. And just accept that sometimes you're going to do things that aren't aligned with your values, but don't actually make yourself wrong. That's where you can start to win. So let me give you the 2 definitions that I want you to really understand about guilt, because I think many of you, I'm talking to you, you may be saying guilt, but what you actually mean is shame. You feel ashamed. See, Brené Brown, I think we all know, she's a genius. She's amazing. She's changed millions of people's lives, and she is a shame researcher in Texas, and a best-selling author, and a TED talker, and an amazing woman. And her research about shame and guilt is so important for you to understand, because shame is when you look at what you did and you say, I'm a bad person. Okay? I think a lot of you are saying you feel guilty when actually it's important for you to admit that what you're actually feeling is shame, because you've crossed a line. You're not saying I feel guilty for what I did. You're saying I feel like a bad person for what I did. Big difference. You have got to remove what you did from your opinion about yourself. You can judge something that you did as negative, but do not judge yourself in the negative. That's where you cross a line and you start to carry something with you for a long time. So for example, if you cheated in your past, talk about the cheating. Don't call yourself a cheater. This is something I need to do. Because then you take it out of the realm of shaming yourself, which does nothing but have you drink poison and die by 1,000 deaths. And it puts it into the realm of you owning what you did and framing it in the negative based on your values. Now, guilt, when it is defined in the academic sense, which I don't think is what you're talking about, it's not what I'm talking about. I think most of us are saying guilt and we mean shame. I feel bad about me. Guilt is when you've done something or you failed to act in a way that's aligned with your values. And because you are acting in a way that is not aligned with your values, you feel psychological discomfort. That's okay. It's a good thing when you feel psychologically uneasy if you're not acting in alignment with your values, because that means it's a signal. You see, if you're setting boundaries and you start to feel agitated and uncomfortable that you're setting boundaries with people that do this to you and shake you up and stir up all kinds of emotional garbage, as you set boundaries, you're going to feel psychologically uncomfortable. Why? Well, because your values, you're the kind of person that wants to be connected. You're the kind of person that wants to be supported and supportive. You're the kind of person that wants a tight-knit family. That's part of your values. So as you start to draw boundaries, which you must do, it means that it's going to feel a little uncomfortable because your values are about connection. Your values are about supporting people, and your values are about a close-knit family. And so drawing boundaries, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means that if you first start to do it, you're going to start to feel like, wait, is this against my values? Aren't I supposed to call my mom every day? Aren't I supposed to be best friends with my brother or sister? Aren't I supposed to remember everybody's birthday? Aren't I supposed to be the best I can be for everybody at all times? That's what you're going to feel. But I don't want you to say, I'm a bad person. What I want you to remember is, yeah, your values are about connection. And one of the most important people to stay truly connected to is yourself. Yeah, your values are about supporting people. And guess who the most important person is that you need to support? That would be you, particularly when you're around people that keep doing this and shaking things up. And yeah, your values are about a connected family. And you can find ways to stay connected, liking posts on Facebook or having rules and boundaries. Maybe you shouldn't go visit mom for a week. Maybe you should visit her for 2 days, because maybe 2 awesome days is enough. But the full week is some holdover that you've got, and now you're using shame, not guilt, shame, and saying, I'm a bad person if I don't go for a week. I'm a bad person if I'm not there for more than 2 days. No, absolutely not. Again, divide or separate the shame, which is I'm bad, from the uncomfortable nature of drawing boundaries, and from the uncomfortable nature of looking at events in the past where you may have done things that are not aligned with your values. Don't make yourself wrong, because it makes it worse. Make the thing you did wrong, take responsibility for it, and move forward. Because you know one of my favorite sayings, when you know better, you do better. And if you had known better, you would have done better. And the same is true, by the way, for the people that keep doing this in your life. If they know better, they would do better. And when they know better, they probably will. But as long as they're doing this, you know better than to hang out with them. So it's time to draw some boundaries. You got me? Good. All right. Some other things around guilt and shame. Remember, you're probably saying guilt, but you're actually shaming yourself. So I want you to catch the difference. Self-compassion, super important. And one of the most powerful tools for me to be more compassionate, because I'm a perfectionist and I beat myself up. And I have done a lot of shitty things in my past that are not aligned with my values. And I have become a better person. And I feel really proud about that. I don't feel proud about what I did, but I got the message in the mess, and I worked hard to become a better person. Really important, and has been very important for me, is to constantly remind myself, when I know better, I do better. And to forgive myself by saying, if I had known better, if I had been in a better place mentally, I would have done better. That's been a marvelous tool for compassion for me. I think that is that. If you, let's see, do we have any questions, Tracy? I don't think so. I don't see any questions. And I think that's it. So I've got to go to Spokane. I know that's kind of strange to say, but I'm getting on a plane, several, in fact, today. And I am flying to Spokane, very excited. I've never been there before. And then I'm flying down to San Diego. And so if you see me along the way, please say hello. And speaking of saying something, in case nobody tells you that they love you today, I want to be the one to tell you that I love you, and I believe in your ability to draw boundaries, to lose the shame, to lose the guilt, to do things that feel uncomfortable, that forward your progress. And as you draw boundaries, you're going to notice something. As you become a stronger person, the people around you that are used to manipulating you and gaining control by doing this, when you no longer respond to it, they're going to freak out because they don't know what else to do but this. So as you get and become a stronger person, just hold tight to everything that you're learning. And remember, you're around somebody like this, force fields up. You can love somebody up close and you can get this crap on you, or you can love them from afar and not have that emotional BS get all over you. You can love people that do this without having them trigger you. You just got to give them room to do this over here while you're backing up and putting the force fields up over here. You got it? But you're not doing something wrong if people get worse as you draw boundaries, because people do not like boundaries being drawn, especially when they've been manipulating you by shaking the globe. You got it? Good. And I believe in your ability to change the way that you think and to do the small things that change your life, because it's the little things that add up to big transformation. And that's why I'm here every single weekday with Coffee Talk, to empower you to do a little bit better so that you can make the most out of your day and your life. So I think we're going to be live tomorrow from Spokane at some point. So I will see you. I don't know. Maybe not. I think we're going to be live from San Diego at some point. Definitely going to be live on Friday. If you have a question, go to social media, leave a comment, leave a post. Use the hashtag AskMel, tag us in it, we will find you, and you will see yourself featured at some point, potentially, on a Coffee Talk coming soon. All right, everybody, have an awesome day, and force fields up. Stay away from these people, you know what I'm saying? Love them from afar. I'll see you later.